This is the top of the rung for Melo fans right here. This is like America's Got Talent and Last Comic Standing. This is like what we aim for, is to be on this podcast. That's the only one, bro.
I just don't think he has it anymore.
Melo's the role he didn't want in Oklahoma.
Carmelo Anthony drills it straight away.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Control the Narrative, the 65th episode of Control the Narrative. Who are we? We're a podcast that controls the narrative that the media creates. If you're new around here, subscribe for our weekly podcast. And if you're a returner, or even better, a member at CTRLthenarrative.com, we appreciate your attention. We appreciate your support. As always, go become a member of Control the Narrative at CTRLthenarrative.com right now to appear on a podcast, to get free sticker packs every month, to get discount on merch, and all of that shit, CTRLthenarrative.com right now. And with that being said, I'm going to bring on my guy Kevin in a second, who is going to come on and talk about just what's been going on in Melo world, because this has not been the best few weeks, to say the least. So with that being said, Kevin, what's going on, bro?
Hey, how's it going, Steve?
Good, man. Appreciate you taking some time out. And, we were just saying that this is going to be like a really important episode because shit has officially hit the fan with Melo in Portland. I didn't think we would see this coming. We'll get into it in a minute. But first off, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you became a Melo fan and your most underrated Melo moment or game, whichever one you want to go with, and why?
I think for me, I spent some time locked up when I was younger, and I was in solitary for like half the time I was locked up. And 2003, when Melo and G-Mac and a bunch of freshmen and sophomores ran through the tournament, man, it was probably one of the, like, I listened to it on a radio, like War of the Worlds, you know what I'm saying? I just listened to that shit on the radio, and it was probably like, it was the same night that Bush bombed Iraq. I remember that. And it was the greatest moment of my sports life, man. I was in solitary confinement, man, and I'll never forget that, man. And ever since then, I've been a Melo fan with the jerseys, the shoes, the following around team to team. Like, it just, like, when he came to New York, that was like, I didn't care what they gave up, man. I didn't care if they gave up the rest of their draft picks the rest of the time they were a franchise just to get Melo, man. And he gave us a lot of good years, bro. And that's how I became a Melo fan, man.
Respect. On that topic, since you followed him around from team to team, Nuggets Melo or Knicks Melo?
You know what, man? I'm going to have to go with Knicks Melo, only because that was when I was able to go to the games. I was always at the games when he came down to play the Heat.
Yep.
And we went to every single one of those games. And plus I'm a Knicks fan. So, I mean, he became like a different type of player in New York. He wasn't the high flyer anymore, but like he improved his jump shot, he improved all of his moves, and he never stopped improving as a player. So I got to go with New York Melo.
Did you? Were you at that game? Like literally, I think it was like 6 or 7 games after he got traded in Miami.
I was at the first game he came to in Miami.
With Billups and Amari, and that was like the game that they won at the end. Amari blocked, I think, LeBron, right? You at that game?
I was at the game. If you ask me how it ended, that was a long time ago. But yeah, no, my wife got me tickets. She's not the biggest Melo fan. She's more of a Wade fan. But yeah, she got us tickets. She would always get us tickets to the game. So we went to the first one. We went to one of the playoffs where they lost. We were at the game where Melo missed the game, and J.R. Smith and them won the game by themselves. We were at that game. Yeah, we were
little off topic now, because I feel like some people, and by some people I mean me, and then I know a few other people, are in the same boat as you in terms of your girl, your wife, girlfriend, whatever, don't root for the same team. So in your experience, what has that been like? Like, is there ever a time where, Melo's playing and the Heat are playing and you guys have to fight for the TV? Like, when you went to that Heat Knicks game, what was that experience like? Just like tell us a little about that because I'm curious about that.
Yeah, she always wears. She's a Melo hater. Like she's like an official Melo hater. When I told her I was doing the podcast, she like really like she couldn't stop laughing. But I was like, dude, you don't even understand. This is the top of the rung for Melo fans right here. This is like America's Got Talent and Last Comic Standing. This is like what we aim for, is to be on this podcast. That's the only one, bro. So But yeah, going to the game, she always wears the opposite jersey, obviously, and then even when we like pick DraftKings, she picks against Melo no matter what. It's like she just, and I actually like, dude, why do you hate Melo so bad? Oh, I'll never forget what he did to Lala. And I was like, yeah, but you're over here like defending Bill Cosby and Deshaun Watson in the same fucking breath. I'm sorry, can I cuss?
No, all good. You could curse.
Okay, yeah. So but she it's just all fun. She always. Nowadays, I just get my own Melos, but back in the day, she would always like get me the newest Melos and the newest jersey, whatever, wherever he was at, and she supported it back then. And then so it's a fun back and forth.
Fair. Interesting. All right, man. Let's get to these depressing, disappointing, upsetting Blazer games lately. If anybody's watching or listening to this podcast, you know what's been going on in Portland, specifically with Carmelo Anthony, has just been straight up forgotten about on this Blazer team, minute-wise, field goal attempts-wise, point-wise. Shit has, like I said before, really just hit the fan. So just opening thoughts on Melo being completely forgotten about on this team.
I think it's the dumbest thing they could do, man. And not just as a Melo fan, but I mean, look what Gary Trent did when he left. You know what I'm saying? When all the starters were injured, look what Melo did. Went into Philly, won. Melo can still be that guy. You know what I'm saying? I have a dream for Melo is to just sit there in the middle and be playmaker like Draymond Green on some team, or at least give him. And again, now it's hard to say who to take the minutes from.
Right.
I mean, are you going to take them from Norman Powell? Are you going to take them from Robert Covington, who's been playing really, really good? Are you going to take them from Cantor, who's been, out of this world? Or what's his name? Nurkic, who's on and off the court, but when he's on the court, he's probably their best defensive player, period. I mean, even for a few minutes last night, he was just swatting stuff everywhere. Yeah, it was pretty. But as far as how they've done Melo, I don't know, man. It's almost like criminal. Like I think we tweeted, like, dude, Rodney Hood, fresh off ACL surgery, bro, just running up the court. Like I play DraftKings. Rodney Hood every night has 3 DraftKings points or 2 DraftKings points, and he was playing 25 minutes some games. You know what I'm saying? And here you got Melo only getting 15 minutes. Like, at least have him in there down the stretch in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? If you want to sub in and out for defense, fine, do that. But this dude is out of this world when it comes to hitting in the fourth quarter when you need a bucket. And he's the best playmaker after Dame. Right now, he's the best playmaker on the team. Like he'll find. I like the little bowling pass he tried the other night, man.
That was wild.
Getting cute with it now, but yeah, man, he just needs more minutes, man. And he feels like. I understand how he feels because he doesn't really get his shots in the flow. He makes his own shots. And if he misses a couple, that was a couple pretty long possessions trying to get his shot off. And he feels like, I don't know, he's got to feel a lot of pressure, man.
Yeah.
To just make his first 10 shots. Even the other night, man, he had 12, 13 points in the first half. And then he hardly even seen the court in the second half, man. I was like, oh, man.
I think that is the most frustrating thing. To me, like, we know what he did for this team last year when Nurk was out and the Blazers had all those injuries and how he kept them afloat until the bubble. We know what he did for them in the bubble. We know what he did for them in the playoffs. They lost in 5 to the Lakers, but he played really, really well. We saw what he did a few weeks ago when half of their roster was hurt. So to see all of this, and this be the reality right now where this dude is getting 17, 18 minutes a night, and And even if he's shooting well, it's like it doesn't matter. It's like they have this set limit on him no matter what. If he starts 0 for 3, if he starts 3 for 3, like it doesn't matter. So it's like, what can he do to get more minutes? And like, I don't get it, because obviously this all started after the trade deadline, and really even a little bit before that when Nurk and CJ came back. And what I don't understand is you trade Gary Trent and Rodney Hood, who Rodney Hood should not have been getting minutes at all. Like, did not look good. I like him. Like, I think he's a good player.
He's a good person, and he's good. He used to be even a really half decent player, but at that time he wasn't. He didn't need all those minutes.
Exactly. So for him to get minutes and for Gary Trent to get minutes, I could be wrong, but I feel like those 2 minutes combined are more than what Powell is getting right now. So I just don't. I don't understand where this lack of minutes is coming from. Like, I get Cantor's balling, and I get they got this guy Powell and shit, but it really shouldn't be that different than when they traded for, or when Gary Trent was here. And like, obviously, you know, Dame was out, CJ was out. They had like a lot of guys out, but even before that, even after that, like he was still getting minutes. So I don't understand what's going on. You know, there's some conspiracy theories, I guess, that they're trying to save him for the playoffs, but like they might not make the playoffs if they keep this up. Like, they can't beat a good team if they get into this play-in tournament, and
if they play Phoenix, they're toast, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Phoenix
so,
has destroyed them every time they played them, man.
So like, I don't understand the strategy, and it's more than anything, it's just like, it's like literally depressing. Like, I don't enjoy watching these games anymore. Like, I turn it on, and like for me to take like 2.5 hours out of my night every other night and to watch like last night, like he scored 0 points in 16 minutes. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like why am I still believing in this team? Why am I still believing in this coaching staff? Why am I still believing in this front office when in the beginning of the year, all we heard about was Melo's going to be our sixth man. He's going to be, you know, the guy off the bench. It's not about who starts games. The GM, Jeff Olshey, literally said it's not about who starts games. It's about who finishes games when talking about Melo. And he's not even finishing games, like you said. So it's like, what the fuck are they doing? What is their strategy with him? It's just insanely frustrating because we're not really getting answers. We're not really like, you know, I wish we could fucking talk to Stotts and be like, yo, what the fuck? What are you thinking behind this?
And somebody asked him, like nobody asked him anything, and
nothing.
It's like the media doesn't even pay attention to Melo, man.
Oh, so it's just it's really depressing. And like, you know, my follow-up question is like, could you have seen this coming? And like, I'll go first. I'm gonna shout out Bro, because Bro knows in the beginning of the season was like, yo, this isn't a good look. In the offseason, it's like, yo, it's not a good look. You know, the Blazers don't have enough minutes, don't have enough you know, shots and shit like that. And for me, I remember when they first signed Covington and then they signed Derrick Jones, I'm like, those are two dudes who plays Melo's position. Like, what is going on here? And Melo didn't sign right away. He signed like, I think 2 days into it. So I think he had to think about it. He's like, damn, do I want to do this? Is this going to work? And for me, in the beginning of the season, you know, like I said, what the GM was saying, that Melo's going to be this guy off the bench. We need his scoring off the bench. We need him to be a playmaker. We need this. We need that from him. And then at this point in the season, to be playing literally 18 minutes a game and like to be getting 4 or 5 shots every game, I could not have imagined this in like my wildest dreams. So I didn't think he was going to – I knew that it was possible that he was going to go out there and not put up like 16 like he was in the bubble or whatever he was scoring. But for it to be this bad right now, I don't think I could have seen this.
Yeah.
I
expected Melo to continue where he left off last year, you know, in the bubble in the playoffs, and maybe a notch below, but I expected him to still have a big role with the team. And when I look at what they're doing now, I believe Stotts takes so much heat for his lack of rotation, you know, skills and all that stuff, that he just doesn't even rotate anymore. He just leaves the goddamn starters in basically the entire game, except for like the last 5 minutes of the second quarter and like the first couple minutes of the fourth quarter. And I believe even Jones Jr. I believe the only reason he even had any minutes last night was because he was playing his old team, and they just let him play a little bit. He did pretty good, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't even see Melo. Like, I know he's humbled himself a lot. I've been there where I've had to humble myself in the past, but I can't believe that he would humble himself this much to the point where they're just walking on him. They're literally just walking. It's almost like the Clockwork Orange, where they make it, they cure the dude of evilness, and he can no longer be evil or anymore, and he can no longer stick up for himself. So now all the people in his past walk all over him. Like, you got dudes just like hitting threes in his face, and I mean, oh man, it's just a disrespect, man. But I don't know, it's just a new age, and it's just people look at stats. I wish he played for a player coach, like even Steve Nash.
Oh, but I think Stotts is a player coach. No, he just like has no back.
I mean, a coach that used to play.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that appreciates what basketball is instead of looking at stats and looking at this and that. Like whether it's Steve Nash or even Golden State, or just somewhere where there's like, I don't know, man. Sometimes I wish he played for Chris Paul, man. Like just with Chris Paul, we had a little taste of it, I think, in Houston for 10 games.
10 games.
But I just wish he was over there with like a real floor general. And when I look at the Blazers, man, it's every man for themselves. Like literally every single play, it's every man for themselves. There's no defense really being played, and it was like Dame literally hitting 90% from the logo, like keeping these dudes afloat, and Melo, doing his thing, keeping these dudes afloat for a couple months.
Yep.
And like the whole team looks lost now, and I think just I don't know, man. Melo is just I hate to see it because you look at Chris Paul, he's only a year older. You look at LeBron, they're the same age. The only thing, I'm not gonna say that he's on their level at this point, but the only thing stopping him from being one of a really, really good player is he doesn't have the ball in his hand like they do.
Opportunity.
He doesn't have the opportunity. He doesn't have the ball in his hands. Like I watched the Portland. He's on the court. This is Melo, bro. And you got LB or Simmons and Little. I like Little, man, but dude, he just like try and dribble, shoot threes, and like just give the ball to Melo, let him run the offense out the post, and go from there, man. But everybody just Gary Trent used to do it too, but but it was like almost like they just didn't pass the ball to the dude. Like they demanded the ball from him, and you give it to him and expect it back off the switch, and they just jack it straight up, man. And I don't know. Next question.
But the whole opportunity thing, he had that when everybody was hurt, and look what the fuck he did.
Exactly.
So it's like this year, we're not talking about last year, we're not talking about 5 years ago, we're not talking about even in the bubble 8 months ago. We're really talking this year. He proved it. He proved that if you give him the shots, if you give him the minutes, if you give him the opportunity, he'll produce. Exactly. So it's like you're putting him out there for not even 20 minutes. You're giving him a few shots every few minutes. Like you'll give him a shot. Literally, like, oh yeah, every 3 minutes, like, here, Melo, take a shot. What do they expect? Like, what do they expect to get out of him? I don't understand it. It feels like OKC, but even worse. Because I feel like in OKC, he had post-ups. He didn't really catch a rhythm that much. And even when he did catch a rhythm, it was like the same thing where they don't let him continue shooting. But right now, it's like we saw what Portland can be for him in terms of like the city itself, how much they cheered for him and embraced him when he first got there. The coach, Dame, like everybody just embraced him. And now to go from that to scoring 0 points in 16 minutes on 4 shots, it's like you literally can't make that up. Like you can't,
because he's being paid the vet min, and so they treat him like he's being paid the vet min. But imagine if he was making $15 million a year, even if he missed every goddamn shot that he took, they would still have to play him 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's
but,
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so looking forward to the rest of the season. I know this is tough right now. We're recording this on Monday. I know they're playing tomorrow. They're playing the Clippers. No, they're not playing the Clippers. Who they're playing tomorrow? The Celtics. They're playing Boston tomorrow. tomorrow and the rest of the season, what does it look like to you in the lens of a Melo fan, just like watching the games in terms of how good you think they can be? Just like what are you looking at for the rest of the season?
First, I'll be at the Atlanta game.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The last game I actually went to was the last time they came last year. Portland lost that game, and Melo only had like 7 points. But this team right now, fully healthy. 10 years ago, man, this would have been a team that could contend for a chip, man. But in the days of super teams, this team ain't gonna cut it. All right. They're not gonna beat the Lakers. They could get out the first round if they're not playing, somebody too tough, like Phoenix or the Lakers or Utah. They could somehow, play the fourth and the fifth seed.
Even Denver is looking good right now.
Even Denver's looking good. Pretty sure they beat Denver pretty good last time, but still, I mean, the playoffs are different. But I've never, before Melo came there, my biggest problem with Portland has always been the construction of CJ next to Dame.
A lot of people,
because I've always felt like they were too similar of a player to have your two best players, two highest paid players side by side next to you. You should have if you have Dame, then you should have a great forward, or you should have a great center, somebody down low. You see what's happened to Dame since CJ came back. They were playing like really good at the beginning of the season. They were like taking turns. Even CJ was having a better season than Dame. Then CJ went out and Dame was almost in the MVP. The bracket. Dame is at his best when he doesn't have to worry about everybody else, man. When he could shoot with no conscience. When there's no, you know what I'm saying? When he could just shoot, be in the zone with no conscience, not have to worry about giving it up and letting everybody else go ISO while he just stands around. That's when Dame is at his best. And Melo as a second option at the time was really a good combo. A thinned out roster with Dame unconscious and Melo picking up the slack, and other people playing, and Cantor doing his thing, and Covington doing his thing, and Jones Jr. was doing his thing, and Gary Trent, man, Gary Trent was playing really good, and but I can't see this team going too far. Like I said, in the world of super teams, and that's the hardest part, to watch Melo sit on the bench and only get 15 minutes and not have a chance at a chip. If he was doing this over there in Lakerland, or if he was doing this over there in New Jersey, then I could see it. I could see it. But not Jersey, Brooklyn now. But just to sit there and just all that for a first or second round exit, and you're just wasting even more time. But I'm gonna tell you, this team is fragile. Somebody's gonna get. I'm not wishing it on nobody.
Like injury wise,
time before somebody else is out for an extended period of time, and they're going to need Melo again. And, he'll put on his cape and he'll come in there and he'll save them, only for him to cut his minutes again. So I don't know.
Yeah, the sad reality. For me, like the one comment you made about Dame and CJ, like two very similar players playing together, we saw it work with the Warriors with like Curry and Clay. Yeah. But the thing about that is like they both bought into a system and just went like 100%. And the Warriors system is so different from this Blazers system, where it legit is what you said of like your turn, my turn, like everybody for themselves. And when you have that, and then you have guys like, I could see it when Melo gets the ball. Sometimes he feels like he has to shoot because he's like, fuck, I don't know when the next time I'm gonna get this ball.
Exactly.
And last night, like I'm gonna give him credit. There were a couple of times where he could have taken a shot, but like he threw a couple passes. So like respect to him, because if that was me, I'd be shooting the fucking ball every goddamn time I touched it. So I don't know how he's able to do that. But in terms of the rest of the season, like one thing I was really looking forward to was to continue seeing Melo climb this all-time scoring list. Yeah. Top 10 still looks like it's gonna happen. Like I was hoping top 9 and shit like that, but I don't know, man. There's absolutely nothing that I'm watching from this Blazer team over the past week or two, maybe 3, that tells me that they even have a chance to like get out of the first round. And what you said about him playing 16 minutes and scoring 0 points for a team that right now doesn't look like they have any shot to win a championship is the worst part of this all. Like when Melo first signed there, the whole idea was, we saw what they were in the bubble. Let's run them back for a full season, everybody healthy, and we'll see what happens. And it just hasn't been that, which is, you could point to a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I think it points to the coach. Like, I don't think Stotts comes back next year. I could give two fucks because I doubt Melo will be back in Portland. But just like the rest of the season, I can't see them not getting knocked out first round if they make it. And it's just going to suck a lot because the whole narrative of like Melo can't get out of the first round. He's done it twice. And like he just has fucking bad luck, man. It's just like every year, like in Denver, he was running into the Lakers, the Spurs. In New York, they made the playoffs 3 times, and his teammates would punch fire extinguishers and rest when their knee was 85% healthy, like Jeremy Lin. So you can't make this shit up. And
fire Mike Woodson.
yeah. So it just sucks, man. It really, really sucks. And like I said, looking forward to the rest of the season. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't want to say I dread watching the Blazer games now, but like when I turn it on and I see Melo like get off the bench with 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter, I'm like what are we doing? Like what is going on here? So
at least you can watch the game. You don't have to watch it if they're not on NBA TV, which they are quite a bit because they always play late.
Yeah,
I have to follow on ESPN Gamecast and just keep refreshing the last play every time he's in the game. So I have to just keep on doing this.
The thing that sucks for me is I'm paying for NBA TV, not NBA TV. I'm paying for a league pass to watch this fucking shit team and this coach play Melo 16 minutes, and it's like, what am I doing, wasting my money watching this shit team and watch the same shit? So it's not good. Another question I have for you is, we mentioned it. They could beat these teams like the Pistons and who else? And the Thunder and shit like that. But they can't beat a good team. If you had to put blame on one or the other, do you think this is more on the coach or do you think this is more on the players? And why?
This is 100% on the coach. I'm going to tell you why. Because that is a very talented roster, bro. Like, it's not a super team, but it's not scrubs either. You know what I'm saying? Cantor's great. CJ's great. Dame's great. Covington is really solid, and he's been impressing me. I mean, he's been bouncing around the league for a long time, but he's like really solid. All the way down to Nurkic and that's about where it stops. Down to Melo. That's about where it stops. Then you get down to Simons.
A lot of good players, though.
Yeah, but you got a really decent starting 5, and you have Melo coming off the bench. And I believe, like, when I watch this game, when I watch the team, like, they're literally, like I said, there's no game plan. They want to go out there and outscore people, and it's not going to happen because unless Dame's, like I said, shooting 90% from the logo, it's hard to outscore like really good teams. And then they run into like buzzsaws like last night. What was that last night? Like they were up like 30-something to 20 or something like that at the end of the first quarter. And then the next thing you know, they just came back and Dame had like 5 turnovers in like the first 10 minutes or something. It was like, and then Melo, oh man, it just fell apart, man. That was horrible.
Yeah. What's great? I think it's 100% on the coach too, because this roster is good. Like there's no reason. And like when I say this team is bad, like they're the 6th seed in the West, which is pretty fucking good. Yeah. A lot of that coming when a lot of the players were out, wild enough. And Melo is one of the guys, but there's no reason that this team shouldn't be right now a top 4 team in the West. And I'm all for the outscoring the other team thing. Like Brooklyn's doing it, and they're doing it very well because they're not doing every fucking possession. They're not isolating every fucking possession. Like they're running pick and rolls. They're doing off balls. Like they're creative with their fucking offense. Going back to that player coach comment that you said, like Steve Nash, he ran that shit to perfection in Phoenix. They never won anything with him and Amari and all them, but the coach just isn't getting enough out of the players, and like it's not on the players where Dame comes and like he has to shoot 90% from the logo, and CJ comes and he has to hit all these step back mid-range shots, and Melo comes and the few times he gets the ball he has to shoot it with like 2 seconds on the clock. Like he's not making it easier on the players on offense or on defense. So like any other coach, I don't want to say any other coach, but a lot of other coaches, like God forbid the Blazers had Thibodeau with this roster, like we see what he's doing in New York. There's no way that this team wouldn't be top 4 at the very least right now. So
even better, honestly, even better. Like
at the
I
very
think
least,
they would be like right under. They would be right under, like with the right coach, like this team could be right under either the Lakers or, right under. I don't even put Brooklyn that high yet because we haven't seen what they can really do as a team yet. But they would be, oh my God, like I could just think of a few coaches that would just be able to like give this team more discipline. Imagine if this team moved the ball like Golden State. Imagine if they had that kind of system where they could just move the ball. And I remember that point you had came up with earlier about Golden State had done it. Like Clay, he's not like a dribble guy. He just catches the ball and he shoots. He's really good at that. But in Dame and CJ and what's the name? Steph are all kind of like similar. They run around, they dribble, that ISO, that. Like I said, I forgot the topic, bro.
But is this more on the coach of the players? And we were talking about Thibodeau.
Yeah, like I said, with Thibodeau, you have to play defense, man. Like if you're not willing to put everything on the line for defense, then you're not even going to see the court. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like a player like Melo, you're not going to expect him to be a defensive juggernaut or anything. Like Melo's best move is like when you're driving to the basket, he'll fake at you and then hope that you're trying to pass it off and stuff and intercept it right there. That's his best move. But
or the swipe block.
Or the swipe block. Yeah, exactly. Like he'll either go for one or the other.
Yeah.
But this team just need, like I just watched them last night. Not last night, the game before when they were on TNT. And I was watching Melo try to help with screens up top. And these dudes like he would do the screen, then he would call for the ball as he's going through the middle, like, kind of like a give and go, and then they would just ignore him. And you know what I'm saying? They would just like keep dribbling, and it was just like he was doing everything he could just to earn the ball. You know what I'm saying? He was down there, he was in the post, he was battling. It was the Heat game actually last night. Yeah, it was on TV. So but they just forget about him, man. They just, I don't know, man. I've never seen anything like that, man. It's
wild.
It's like a lack of respect.
And I mean, we saw something similar to it in OKC, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think right now it just hurts more because, like, I'm so upset by this. It hurts more because we saw how good Portland was to him, and like, fucking not even forget last year, a few weeks ago, and we saw what he could do. So like, to go from that to getting 4 shots is like, there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. But I just feel like it is on the coach. God forbid they had a different coach. Like I said, shit is so fucking different. Shit is so different. They are, and I say this almost every week. It's not like they have a bunch of slow dudes on the team. Like Cantor can't play defense fine. Melo's not the best defender, but like they have athletic dudes on the team who can play defense if they want to. There's no reason they can't be that. So anyway,
just say this: like a month ago, Melo was up to like 7,000 on DraftKings, bro, and now he's only 3,900, man. Last night he didn't even get. Oh man, like I said, man, I have a lot of complaints with how they're using him. I don't pretend to be a basketball coach or anything, but I've been watching basketball 30 years, since I was a little kid, man, and I know I watched how Melo beat Philly twice. You know what I'm saying? Once with Dame, once without, and I watched how Melo played in those games. And my question to you is, if Melo leaves next year, would you rather him play 15 minutes on the bench for a chip or 30 minutes a game on a average team, like Portland's average, but maybe not that average, but like somebody that doesn't have a chance in hell, like Charlotte or something, or Orlando, or what I'm saying, or New York. New York. I'm not gonna say New York doesn't because I'm a Knicks fan. I always feel they have a chance. But even the Knicks, man, you know what I'm saying? Just I'd rather see him. Of course, the Knicks. I would take that one out. But I think for me, I would rather. At this point, he needs that chip. He doesn't need it, but I think Jeremy Lin can't have a chip, and Melo and Melo doesn't have a damn chip.
Give credit to Lin. He played a hell of a 46 seconds in that finals. He played a hell of a 46 seconds. Damn, because literally my question was percent chance you believe Melo returns to Portland. I think it's pretty slim at this point, but that question of 15 minutes on a championship. So championship contender, or like, are you telling me that he's going to win the championship?
Let's say he the two teams are the Lakers, because he'll have a hard time getting playing time there, and Brooklyn, hard time getting playing time there. You know, he's not gonna get playing time over anybody playing power forward on either team. So maybe Joe Harris, maybe maybe Kuzma, but no, I don't know. But which would you rather see?
So Lakers, Nets, or a team like the Hornets?
Exactly.
Shit. See, right now, I might have an answer. Then in a few months, like off the bat, putting this out there on April 12th, I want Melo to return to the New York Knicks in the summer. Nobody thought the Knicks were going to be good this year. And what's crazy is like the Knicks are a great defensive team with pretty much no ISO scores, and the Blazers are a terrible defensive team with all ISO scores. Yeah. So like just taking Melo and putting him on this Knicks team, they would be so legit. Like that's the one thing they're missing is like a go-to scorer. And like Randall's done his thing, RJ's done his thing, but if they have Melo, someone who could create every single play. Like I went to the Knicks game on Friday.
And I saw. I was going to congratulate you on that, man.
Yeah,
that was the DMX one, right?
Huh?
It was the DMX game.
Or yeah,
the game after? Yeah.
That was the DMX game, and like their offense, like they were legit running into each other. Like their offense. So anyway, I hope he goes to the Knicks. But if I have to pick, Lakers or Nets, I'm going Nets because I think playing with LeBron, I just don't want him because LeBron turns everybody into spot up shooters.
Yeah.
But oh my God, that's a fucking tough question. Like I go back and forth on this all the time because like I think about it, and for me, how much like people would be like, oh, after he retires, be like, oh yeah, an NBA championship. But like for me, I would know it wasn't the ring that he was supposed to get, like in New York or even in Denver. So I might change my mind, but for right now, I think I would rather him go on a team where he can play 30 minutes, contribute, show everybody again, prove himself again that he can still do it at fucking 36, 37, 38. Because, you know, for me, this whole ring era has been wild. I think LeBron started it in 2011 when he went to Miami and this whole super team shit. I never liked it. I thought it was the reason that Melo never won in New York, besides all the shitty ass teammates he got. But
management.
But yeah, for me, man, I just want to see him ball again. Like I hate watching these games where he just plays 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and and we know he still can. That's the thing. It's not like we saw it a few weeks ago.
We're not delusional. So.
Yeah, we just saw it when everybody was out. So we know he can still do that. Over the course of a whole season, like you're gonna have your ups and your downs, of course, but we know he can still put up. I swear to God, still think he could put up 20 if he is like one or two options. So Orlando, Charlotte, I think it would be fun as hell.
Where's his best fit then next year, where he has a chance to go deep into the playoffs and get minutes?
People aren't gonna believe me because they're gonna think it's a bias, and I don't know if you'll believe me either. But the Knicks.
Yeah. But take the Knicks out of the equation though, because they might not want that kind of media attention he might bring back, or I don't know what they had. It was a bad breakup. So
Melo and the Knicks. Well, once Phil got out of there, I thought that was like it went pretty smoothly. Like they left on good terms.
Mm,
You think it was
yeah,
bad?
I guess. So besides the Knicks, where
Besides the Knicks, do you have a team in mind? Well, I think or no.
I believe like Philly, I think
Philly,
he'd be good playing small forward in Philly.
would be.
I wouldn't say he'd go over there and take Middleton's job in Milwaukee or something. I think in Phoenix, I think who's over there? Who's the small forward? Bridges.
Mikal, yeah.
I think he's pretty good, but I think like there's those teams right on that level, right under the super teams and stuff like that, where Melo could go in and start still and be a number 2 option or first, just somewhere where they respect his game and take advantage of what he can bring to the table, man, and give him a chance to make a run in the playoffs. One last glory, man.
You know what's crazy? You're saying all these things like go somewhere where they respect his game, where they can make a run in the playoffs. This is literally everything we said about Portland last year.
Yeah.
Literally like everything we said about Portland. Yo, Dame respects him. The coach respects. Everybody respects him. They have a shot. And now here we are. What are we, 60 games into the season? Or maybe not. I think they cut it like 70. So what are we, like 40, 50 games into the season? And it's like it couldn't be further from the truth, which is fucking wild. Like that's where we are in the Melo marriage. Crazy shit.
I thought when he was out the league, I thought like Portland at the time was a really good fit for him, and I was like really excited when they signed him. At the time, I was hoping for the Lakers kind of just to give him a chance to get back in the league and play on a team that had a chance. But Portland, I was really excited for that, man.
Yeah.
And the first season was like above my expectations, actually. As far as how he did, the team did, the energy he brought to them, and what I'm seeing now, man, is like it was like my dog died, bro. It's like
shit, man. It's that shit for real. So, I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna start the movement just yet, but I think the hashtag Bring Melo Home movement to the Knicks can gain some serious momentum over the next few months heading into the summer.
I will retweet that every day.
We'll keep an eye on that. All right, Kevin. We talked about pretty much everything, vented a lot. So before we let you go, at the end of every episode, we allow our guests to control a narrative. Doesn't have to be Melo related, doesn't have to be basketball related, doesn't have to be sports related. But I'm going to give you the floor and let you control a narrative.
Okay. My biggest thing, and I want to stick to Melo because you don't want to hear me ranting about Stephen King and shit, man. But for Transformers, but I want the narrative that Melo is, and I'm not gonna say everybody thinks he's washed because he's had a few games and stuff, but I want people to know that when you see LeBron, you see Chris Paul, and you see these vets that are all around the same age that all came in the league. I mean, Wade's gone, Bosh is gone, everybody from that draft is gone except Melo and like Kyle Korver and LeBron, and they were neck and neck for the first few years of their career, and Melo's situation in New York and his loyalty. LeBron has no loyalty as far as basketball. It's all business to him. Even though he came back to Cleveland, won the championship, that was the most loyal thing he's ever done in his career. Then he left again. And Melo went through a lot of stuff, like I said, with Knicks management, with the Phil Jackson stuff, and then going to what's the name for a year, OKC, and trying to mesh with Paul George and Westbrook. I thought that was like a hockey team. And then what happened in Houston, and I always believe that Harden had something to do with that. I don't think I think he just didn't like how Melo slowed the game down with his post ups and stuff, and Houston had to come up with some excuses why they were cutting them and stuff like that, and Melo just got a bad rep or whatever. But we saw it with the injuries, even without Dame. I'm telling you, man. I watched that game. He went into Philly. Even though Gary Trent had 2 more points than him, he led that team. And the only thing that's stopping Melo from being thought of at the same level today is, right under LeBron and right about the same as Chris Paul, is the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's giving him the ball and say, "This is your team." like they've done Chris Paul or LeBron, and those are the only two I can think of that are that old, that were all on the same back then. Nobody's given Melo the keys since he left New York. You know what I'm saying? And said, "This your offense, run it." You know what I'm saying? Now they're just like, dude, you make $2 million a year, man. Who cares what you think, bro? And the narrative is that Melo could still be that guy. If you need a guy that's going to take you to the playoffs and play a big role on your team and be a great teammate and all the rest of that stuff, Melo could be that guy. You could run the offense through him. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to be your number one option, but you could run the offense through him, and he could put up big numbers. He's a playmaker. So I think the team that gets him next year, I think Melo should really think about. That should be the biggest decision of his career. It wasn't leaving Denver. It wasn't leaving. I think the biggest decision of his career is how he wants to finish his career, and how he wants to finish his career in people's minds. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think he'll ever go chase a chip. He never did before, and he won't now. Melo's always been the loyal guy, and he's always been a stand-up guy, and he's always been a guy that brung it every night. You know what I'm saying? And he's still that type of guy. He just needs the opportunity, and that's the narrative I want.
Well said, bro. That pretty much summarizes everything we talked about this episode to a T. Because as you're talking and saying all these things, all I'm thinking about is like, can you imagine? Just like even for a second, let's just like imagine best case scenario. Melo comes home to New York. He is what the Knicks are missing. I legit believe that like it's such a good fit for both sides right now. And like if they make a deep run with that defense that they have and with the role players that they have and the young guys that I'm dreaming right now. So
I will say this: the chances of it happening, if Melo wants it to happen, and ownership gives the green light with Leon Rosen over there, the offense that he could bring that team, which is a pretty bad, it's a subpar offensive team. The offense he could bring that team for the vet min of $2.5 million, I think Thibs and they'll have to, Thibs might not be happy with his defense. You know what I'm saying? But the offense he could bring in the second unit, he's like, I don't want to start over RJ or anything like that. I do, but I'm not going to say that. Of course, I want him to start. I want him to start over goddamn LeBron if that was the case. But I think, man, that would be a great story, and I think he can give them like 2, maybe 3 more years. I don't know if he'll hang on. How long did Vince Carter play? I think I saw like one of his last season when he was with Atlanta.
Yeah.
But he played like almost 20 years or something, like 21 years or something like that. And I think Melo still has, at least 2 more productive years left in him, man.
Yeah. Good shit, man. Love that one, that he could be the guy. Like, it's true. All it comes down to is just opportunity. And all you have to, if you don't believe us, go watch highlights from the games that Dame, CJ, Nurk, and all of them were out when Melo was one of the guys, and look what he was doing for that offense. Like scoring, but also facilitating. Like he was putting up 5-6 assists a game regularly. So, Kevin, man.
At least 4 or 5, get the fuck out of here rebounds.
Classic.
The jersey, man. You want to do that?
Oh, yeah.
You want to do that here now, or do you want to just do it on your own?
We'll tweet it out, but for everybody watching or listening, Kevin hit me up and was like, yo, they sent you an extra jersey, right?
Yeah, they sent me an extra.
They sent him an extra Portland Trailblazers Carmelo Anthony jersey. Might not be the hottest jersey in the streets right now, but it is a Carmelo Anthony jersey on his current team. And he hit me and he was like, yo, do you want this? Appreciate everything you do, on Control. And I was like, bro, I appreciate that. It means a lot. I already have one of the black ones. So instead of kind of just being selfish and taking it for myself, I thought that we would give it away. So if you're watching, if you watched all this on YouTube or listened to all this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, respects.
You win the jersey automatically.
You win it automatically. We're probably going to give it away on Twitter. So just stay tuned to our Twitter over the next few days, and we'll give that away. Kevin, thank you for taking time out of your night and hopping on here, and also for for sending that jersey to Winner's Way once we pick that. It means a lot, bro.
That's what's up, man. I got like 20 jerseys and like 19 are Carmelo, one's a Kobe. And
Whereas you want to do like one jersey a week for the next 19 days?
No, I'm not giving those away, man. Just the black one that's a little too small.
With you, bro. But yo, seriously, it means a lot, man. I appreciate your support.
Hey, man, keep doing your thing, man. I always appreciate anybody that has, that enthusiasm for Melo and keeping this shit alive. And, man, I really appreciate everything. And we're Twitter friends, man. Appreciate that.
Stay mellow, baby.
All right, man. Be easy, man. Stay mellow.